To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejados de las
This here's the wildest ride in the world.
When indiscreet doors change.
So today on Miles from Main Street, we are talking our Mount Rushmore of Magic Kingdom. I'll kind of explain that a little bit. What we're trying to do is just what we would put on a Mount Rushmore for Magic Kingdom. We're talking about 4 different things here. We're talking about rides. We're talking about dining location. We are talking about a show. And we're also going to have a wild card in there for just kind of whatever we think deserves to be on a Mount Rushmore type thing for Magic Kingdom. Brian kind of thought of this, and I thought it was a really good idea, so we're going to run with it.
I think it should be fun. Mount Rushmore is kind of our, in the U.S., it's our monument to the presidents. Right? Something big for our country. So what is our monument for the Magic Kingdom? Mm-hmm. And we thought we'd make it a little more fun than just naming 4 random things, and we'd actually give them each a category. So I think it'll be a fun one. Let's start with rides, Mikhailo. What ride would you put up on Mount Rushmore?
So just kind of talking through what this is and what we're trying to do. So basically we're thinking of a ride that like embodies Magic Kingdom and that like embodies like what that Magic Kingdom feel is. So I feel like it has to be like one of those nostalgic, like old school style rides. And I mean, I have, exactly what I'm thinking of picked out. And it was a ride that was there on day 1, and it's still a really popular ride. And it's a classic Disney dark ride, and it just so happens to be my favorite ride. But I mean, I would do Haunted Mansion, and for most of the reasons that I said before, where like it's your classic Disney dark ride. It really kind of encapsulates that like Magic Kingdom feeling. You got that like the old school type stuff there. It's been updated a little bit, so it has some new school stuff in there. But I just feel like it's like that ride. Like it opened up with the park. It's like if anything, it's gotten more popular as it's been out. So I feel like. I feel pretty confident putting that onto a Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think that it definitely deserves to be on Mount Rushmore. I wouldn't choose it for myself. I think that it's a niche area, but it's not my Mount Rushmore. It's yours. So more power to you, buddy. I think of this as iconic. What is iconic? And I think back to my first trip. When I went to Disney World, I was like, okay, I'm not going to be able to do everything, right? Like, it's not possible. But I wanted to hit all the iconic things that I could think of. And the one thing to this day that will still enter my head when I think iconic about the Magic Kingdom is, and yes, it is my favorite, but it's Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. Anytime I think about the Magic Kingdom, there's a few different things I think of, but it's always, one of those items is always going to be Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. And it's the picture, to be more specific, it's the picture or the video clip that I have in my head of the train coming down the hill and going around the circle. And it's always been in my head. It was something that I can remember now from my first trip oh gosh, not to it. Well, I guess it was only 23 years ago. It's a long time ago. I was more than that. Anyway, it's still something I remember, that when I thought about that, what iconic things do I need to do? That was one of them that hit my head immediately. Like, that's something I've got to do. So I made sure I was able to run the park by myself that day. It had just rained, and I was there with my mom. I was just into college when I went, and she got tired of the rain and stuff and decided to go back to the room after I had already run her around the parks a bunch. So anyway, she went to the room. I went off to Magic Kingdom and ran around by myself, and that was one of the first rides I hit. And I'm so glad that I was able to do it that way, because it was a lot of fun running around by myself. So anyway, that's got to be my first thing up on Mount Rushmore. And what would I put on Mount Rushmore to represent it? Exactly what I said. The train coming down the mountain, going around the circle, being my first head.
Yeah, I guess we didn't really talk about if we were going to include that, but I guess for me, for Haunted Mansion, that's a tough one of like what is iconic of Haunted Mansion. I think the thing that I like the most are like the little details. So I would probably either put like that little gargoyle that like sits. They have them in the queue on like the little railings. They sold it at one point. I thought that was really cool. That, or like the placard that just says Haunted Mansion, because it's just so iconic. Again, I've also wanted one of those too before. I thought that would be really cool to hang in my room. So, but yeah, I feel like those are two pretty solid rides, and they're also like very, like you said, very iconic rides. So it makes a lot of sense putting them on a Mount Rushmore.
Yes, very much so. I just kind of came up with that on the fly, so sorry to throw you on the spot there with that one. But
I like that too. So then it kind of gives our Mount Rushmores like a shape of like what they're going to look like. So that's kind of cool to formulate that into your head.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's do restaurants next. I'm going to run with this one first. The restaurant for me would have to be Cinderella's Royal Table. And that's because you're eating inside the icon of all icons, right? I was watching a video recently of somebody that was there for the first time. They really enjoyed the food. When I was able to eat there, that was one of our better meals that we had that week. And I would definitely say that it's worth going to at any time. If you're looking for a really good meal. Like, that food was really good. So I think it's definitely lived up to the icon status of being inside the castle. You're going to, I mean, come on, you tell a kid to get to eat inside the castle and then you take them there, like, really? Like, that's going to be the be-all, end-all for them when it comes to a meal. My kids definitely will talk about that, and that they had a great time getting to do that. So yeah, for me, pretty simple one maybe, but it's a very iconic building, and it's a great place to visit and have a meal. So Cinderella's Royal Table. The icon I would put on the mountain, plain and simple, would just be the castle itself. It's got to be up there. And, maybe with a little nod to Cinderella's Royal Table or something, inside of the castle would be kind of cool. But that's my restaurant, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, and that's a solid restaurant too. Very popular. A lot of people like it. But for me, this actually kind of comes down to two different places for me. The one obvious one, and I've talked about it before, and I sing the praises, and I love it. And I think anytime I'm able to, I'm going to try to go to it. But Be Our Guest, I love Be Our Guest. The one that it's competing with, though, right now, and I'll explain why, Casey's Corner. And it's one of them is more iconic than the other. I mean, I'd have to say Casey's is more iconic. But I mean, just the experience with Be Our Guest. I've just never had a bad experience. Even when, like, my very first experience, I was on the back wall, just like thrown on the back wall, furthest away from what I wanted to see the most, which was the window with the snow coming down. I still had a great time and I still loved it. But it's tough because I do enjoy Casey's, and I think that's definitely one of the places that also I think quick service wise I would definitely go to the most, just because I love hot dogs. And we had hot dogs and those corn dog nuggets. Corn dog nuggets were really good. And so that's the thing, is that you're battling with an icon, like something that's been there for a long time and that people love and has a cult following. And you're battling that with like just an amazing experience in Be Our Guest. So it's tough. I think I'm going to give it to Be Our Guest, just because this is my Mount Rushmore, and it's Be Our Guest means more to me than Casey's does. Casey's has been kind of like a new thing for me, where I went to Casey's for the first time this last trip. There have been several trips that I've gone to Disney and with Casey's in mind, but I just never was able to get there because by the time we got to the front of the park and we were in that area, it was closed. And we were, at that point, we were just going in and shopping. So I finally made it a point to go there most recently, but I definitely have better experiences and better memories with Be Our Guest. So I'm going to do Be Our Guest, and I think I'm going to, the imagery I'm going to use, and this is my brain and how my brain works. It's actually the stained glass of the Beast and I think it's the old lady that comes to see him, and that's like right in the front. If you haven't been to Be Our Guest, they kind of make you stand around for a little bit before they before your table's ready. So what that does, though, is it lets you kind of like look around that front area and see all of the detail that they have in there. And there's a lot of it. And I just remember staring at that for a while and just being like, wow, this is really cool. So I think that's what I would do, is the stained glass window with the Beast on it.
I think that's a great choice. I think that would look really cool. So good point. Good job. I have been in Casey's. I have ordered food from Casey's. I have never eaten a hot dog at Casey's. My family's not huge on hot dogs, I guess, so we just haven't been in there. We've always been tracking other food and trying to find other things that we figured a hot dog is something that you can get anywhere. So I have heard that Casey's is up their game since the reopening, and the hot dog is actually better than it was before the closure. So definitely worth something, checking that out, going and trying out that hot dog. So next time I'm there, I'm going to definitely have to do that. Yeah, good choice. So we're on to a show. I'll let you go with that one.
Again, I am struggling with two. And one, oddly enough, I haven't seen yet. And it's just something that just seems so epic that I would like so much, and I really want to go see it. And hopefully my plans for an October trip will actually happen, and I'll be able to go see it. But it's the Halloween Castle show. And
Great show.
just the way that they incorporate Hocus Pocus, which is my favorite Halloween movie, I think is just amazing. I think that's so cool. And so I've just always wanted to see that show, and I just think that show is just epic. But Brian and I were kind of talking about this before the show, and we were kind of like, oh, like what shows are there? And he was kind of rattling them off, like, oh, Mickey's PhilharMagic, the Country Bear Jamboree, and he was just like rattling off all these shows that I just like don't have, like I'm just not excited for. And other than like, I mean, the normal Castle show is pretty decent. I remember Move It, Shake It, Mouse Could Dance It was actually kind of cool when I saw it. But yeah, we were just listing off all these things, and then something came to mind that I was like, I do actually really enjoy this. And I thought about it more, and I was like, you know what? This is a show. And I was like, and I would sit there and just like cheer. And like, I just was really into it. Sunny Eclipse.
Do you actually cheer? Like,
oh
really
yeah.
cheer?
And it's
Oh, man.
it's funny the way that
I want to be there for that.
Yeah, you will someday. But it's funny the way that he does it, because he has his little like he gets done with his song, and he has his little like interludes where he's just like, yeah, we're in space, and like does all his stuff. So it's like there's time for you to like, yeah, go Sonny. And I love it. It's like, so I don't know why it's so great, but you just like sit there and you eat your humongous hot dog and you listen to this space alien perform. Somehow that is better than Mickey's PhilharMagic for me. I don't know. Maybe it's just kind of like a cult thing, like a cult following type thing. Because this is such a Disney nerd thing to like think that Sunny Eclipse is like really great entertainment. But yeah, I mean, from those two though, I think I'd still pick the Halloween show, even though I've never seen it. I've definitely watched videos of it and been like, wow, I would love to be able to see this live. So I think hopefully I can make that happen soon. But yeah, I think I'm going to have to go with that. And the icon for the mountain is definitely the three sisters. And they're doing their pose at the end of the song that they sing. I can't remember the name of the song. I Put a Spell on You, that one. Yeah. So that would be it. And it's strange because it's not a show that I've seen, but it's a show that I want to see. But that would be on my Mount Rushmore.
That was a great conversation that you gave there. We went from witches on over to I don't even know how to explain him. Like Sunny Eclipse, he's a cool dude. A crooner maybe, witches to crooner. But yeah, that was fun. I could see definitely putting Sunny Eclipse up on Mount Rushmore. I mean, think of that nose.
Oh yeah,
how big of a nose you would have to make. That would be something. Well, me being the history guy has to go historical here, and I am going to put up the Mickey Mouse review, which was in the park on opening day. It wasn't extremely popular, but it was a fun show. I have never seen it. It made its way to Japan after leaving the Magic Kingdom. It went to the Disneyland Japan place. Why am I having trouble saying that one? Anyway, yeah, it's over in Japan, and you can see some of it there. Some of the animatronics from that show did stay here and were repurposed in a couple of other places. I believe one of them was in Splash Mountain, along with the America Sings stuff, and they've still got it running over in Japan, as far as I know. So anyway, I thought it was the videos I've seen of it, it's very 70s. It's very, old school tech, but it's Mickey Mouse, and you got to have Mickey Mouse if you're going to talk about the Magic Kingdom. That's where he lives, okay? So Mickey Mouse Review is going to be my show, and of course, Mickey's getting a spot on Mount Rushmore.
Awesome. Yeah, I would actually be remiss if I didn't mention a show that I had a friend perform in back in the day. I had a friend who was in the Kids of the Kingdom, and that was a show that they used to have in front of the castle. So that will be my what's the term for this?
For a wild card, or
no, it's not the wild card. It's
about?
like the honorary mention. Honorable mention. That's what it'll be. Honorable mention. The Kids of the Kingdom.
Well, and I mean, getting to honorable mentions, I was struggling with fireworks. Mm-hmm. How do you put a fireworks show in there? You've had so many iconic ones with Wishes and with Happily Ever After. Like, Happily Ever After is always going to be my favorite show as far as fireworks go. And Enchantment is starting to, take its place. It features the new projections down Main Street, and so there's some iconic stuff going on there too, but I'm going with I had to go with Mickey Mouse this time. Mm-hmm. But it's hard to pass up the fireworks shows. I mean, Happily Ever After, man. Last week my wife said, "Hey, let's watch that before we go to bed," and I'm like, yeah, we haven't watched that in a long time, so
we haven't had a good cry in a while.
Yeah. It tugs at your heart. I mean, it's awesome. Anyway, we had a really good experience with that a couple of times when we got to see it, and so it does mean a lot to this family, and so it's hard to pass that one up and go with Mickey Mouse, but come on, it's Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, and I had a similar dilemma with me, and that was also because Disney Magic Kingdom fireworks are starting to mean a little bit more to me, just because they're upping their game. And back in the day, I enjoyed Illuminations more than I did Wishes. And so, like, I would watch Wishes and be like, oh, that's nice. And then go to watch Illuminations and like have my mind blown and be like, this is so cool. And so I think that's why I just didn't have that big of a relationship with Wishes. And then Happily Ever After came out, and I really liked that one. I thought it was so good. I thought it was so well done. The music was so good. And it really, it tugs at your heart. But that's the thing, is that I only saw that maybe twice, and then they got rid of it. And now this new one, You Are the Magic. Again, I think, and Brian, I told you about this a little bit ago. I recently listened to the beginning of that song, and I got emotional, and it was because I was thinking about the trip that I just recently went on. And that's kind of, that's what these do. And I mean, Harmonious is really great. But I think my relationship is evolving with the fireworks at Magic Kingdom, whereas with other people, like maybe the fireworks at Magic Kingdom have meant more because Wishes meant more. But I feel like now that I'm getting more into the Magic Kingdom fireworks, they're now all of a sudden starting to like become a revolving door of those fireworks. So hopefully that's not always the case. But I feel like if it came to Epcot, I know what my choice would be for show. which again, this just shows how many people I know at Disney. I have a friend who is in a show at Disney, in several shows at Disney. But I think I know what I would pick. So that just shows that that my relationship with the fireworks at Magic Kingdom aren't quite what they could be compared to what they are for Epcot. So that's just why I didn't really go with fireworks, because you really easily can, because those are amazing shows and Disney puts so much into them. I just don't have that kind of relationship just yet with these shows. So
Yeah, and going back to your emotions, can we pause and take a minute to talk about Mikhailo's feelings?
okay, yeah, here I'll hit pause.
No, what I was going to say about it is, Walt always wanted a epic conclusion to the day. And I think it really caps off, a celebration of what you've done during the day. Mm-hmm. And when you're doing that with someone that means something to you, or, many someones that mean something to you, I think that really is what that is doing, is it's kind of solidifying those emotions. And what better way than by, finishing it off with some great music. And I'm sure you will agree, I feel like music is a big piece of memories. Not to get in too much of a tangent, but there are many times that I say to my wife, this is one of those songs that reminds me of going to the beach. And, she's never had that connection, I guess, but now she's getting that with Disney, like with Happily Ever After, like those are the types of emotions. And I've heard other people talk about it, like it's not what Disney has, it's how Disney makes you feel that makes you come back. And that's what we're talking about here with these fireworks. So yeah, I completely understand where you're coming from with those emotions, and I hope that other people are starting to come around to the fact that Disney knows what they're doing. That maybe the show isn't Happily Ever After, but it still has something for everyone in it. And, we did our reaction video. I wasn't that impressed, but I've given it some more watches. You've had the opportunity to see it live. And I think if we were to do a reaction video now, I imagine yours at least, and mine would be a little bit different than what we did at the time. There was some disappointment from us, but I think when you really sit down and give it a chance, I think you're starting to see some payoff in it. So stop with all the negative stuff about the fireworks, people, and let's move on. Let's all just enjoy Disney because it's Disney.
It's funny. Brian and I had a conversation about this kind of, and I'm not going to get into it because I feel like if we are going to get into it, we should just dedicate an episode to it. But I am not happy with all the trust me, there are plenty of things to be negative about with Disney, but it's when people are saying the magic is gone from Disney. It's like, no, it's not. You guys are just focusing on the negative. So we're not going to get into it, but that's something that, and it's funny, Brian did it. He beat me to it. I
said I wasn't going to.
I know.
So I apologize.
but yeah, that's something that we can definitely talk about. And on this podcast, we don't want to be negative, because we love the place. And I guess it really would just be kind of being negative towards people being negative. So it's like, yeah, it's a tough one, but we just don't want to be that way on the podcast. But I think at some point, maybe in the near future, we'll address it a little bit and talk about it, because it's something that should be talked about. and it also encapsulates those fireworks, which I have seen in person. And getting back on track, seeing it in person is definitely way different than watching it on a YouTube video. So, which is obvious. But moving on to our last segment of our Mount Rushmore, we have the wild card. And this can be kind of anything. So, Brian, what's your wild card?
Mine, I'm going to finish with another train. Walt loved trains. And, it was said that one of the reasons or maybe the main reason he wanted to build Disneyland is he needed a bigger space for his trains. So I am going to take the train station and put that up on my Mount Rushmore, because riding around on a train, going around, using it either for a mode of transportation in between lands or just as a relaxing break from the park, I think that train can be a lot of fun. And, it is a very iconic piece of Disney, and a very iconic piece of Magic Kingdom in particular. So it has to be up on my Mount Rushmore. It's been closed for too long, and they need to get it reopened, and I'm hoping it's coming soon. There have been a few things that it's, it seems like they're getting close to being able to reopen it. But, one of the encouraging things is that they've fixed up the steam engines. Like, they've fixed them all up, and so they're going to be top notch when they come back. And I can't wait to see that. The one thing that they used to do, that they moved it because of crowd problems, but they had at the opening date, or the opening show in the morning, they had that on the train station, and the characters would all ride the train out to the train station, and they would do a little good morning, welcome to the Magic Kingdom, come on in, and I wish they would not have moved it to the castle, because how cool is that to start your day right at the front of the park with Mickey Mouse saying, "Hey, welcome, come on in," like that's really cool, and just adds to the iconicity. Is that a word? I don't think so.
You just made it
but
up.
I'll use it anyway. So yeah, the train has to be on my Mount Rushmore.
Nice. Yeah, mine is going to be a little bit more global, but I'm going to pinpoint something on it. Mine is going to be Disney snacks. At the Magic Kingdom, the snacks are epic. And this is it's kind of always been a thing, but it's becoming more of a big thing recently, just kind of like with the snacks that are there. But the reason I think this is also iconic is because the snacks have always been epic. They're just really, 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 really stepping up their game recently. They're noticing the snack vloggers, I think, and so they're coming out with new snacks and keeping people coming back. But the one thing I kind of want to pinpoint is the turkey leg. They have T-shirts with turkey legs on them. That's how good these turkey legs are. That's how much people love these turkey legs. I love these turkey legs. They're so good. I wish I could recreate them. And I actually found, I don't have the smoker anymore. My parents took it with them to their new house. But I found turkey legs pretty regularly at the grocery store that I go to. So that's a possibility. Like, I may be able to try and recreate that, but it's just so good, and it's slightly mobile. Like, it's not that mobile. It's you're gonna get turkey juices all over the place, and it's inevitable. Like, it's going to happen. But it's pretty decently mobile. You can move around the park with it, and they've had them forever. Like, they've had them for so long. So that's, yeah. I mean that's iconic. Like, and you're just turkey leg. Just like put it on a Mount Rushmore. just put the turkey leg there. My honorable mention for snacks is Dole Whip. More specifically, I think the Dole Whip that I got recently was like the coconut Dole Whip. Oh, so good. So good. Like, I got Dole Whip for the first time, and this is actually kind of the way to do it, I guess. Because it's like where it started. I first got Dole Whip at Disneyland. So I thought that was really cool, and I got just like a regular Dole Whip, and I had it, and I was just kind of like, pineapple soft serve. It wasn't it, and I guess it was one of those things where it's like people talked about it all the time, and like people blew it up to like this, like it was like this cult status thing, Dole Whip. And I finally had it, and I was just kind of like, But the coconut Dole Whip that they have at Disney World is amazing. So good. I think I mentioned I had it in line for Tiki Room, and it like made Tiki Room for me. Like, had I not had that, I probably would have gone into Tiki Room and been like, this is kind of lame. But instead, I was like feeling the pineapple Dole Whip, or the coconut Dole Whip, and I sat down and I was like, Tiki Room, where the Tiki, like I was into it. So
he was buzzing on sugar.
Yes. But it was great, and like now I'm like kind of like low key a Tiki Room fan. It was awesome. So yeah. But that would be mine. Is Disney Magic Kingdom snacks would be my Mount Rushmore, and it would definitely be a turkey leg.
This is why we're related, is because turkey leg.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love the turkey legs as well. So I'll throw an honorable mention onto yours, that the Mickey pretzel has to go up there as well. But yes, good choice.
Yeah, I've only really ever had, I think, a couple Mickey pretzels, and they're good. I'm not going to speak ill of the Mickey pretzel, but just those turkey legs, man, they're so good. And I don't know if you guys know this, but Brian smokes meats, so he could probably make me a pretty good smoked turkey leg.
Yes, I've got to work on that. Bring me some of those turkey legs.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're gonna do. We're gonna have dinner sometime, and I'm gonna bring the turkey legs, and you're just gonna smoke turkey legs for us.
Sounds good. We'll have to do that. All right, so got some housekeeping to deal with here, guys. The website. We have a new web address. So if you have bookmarked our website to find this podcast, you're going to want to change it. It is now www.milesfrommainst, as in street.com. So it's not the full word street, but it's milesfrommainst.com. And you're going to find our website there, just as it always has been. More excitingly, and hopefully, maybe by the time this podcast reaches your ears, there will be a new website.
Wow.
With all kinds of great information.
Wow.
So I will not spoil any of that, but I will let you guys discover that when it comes out. And I'm excited for it. I've been working hard on it, and I'm excited to get it out to you guys and hear what you think. It will definitely showcase the podcast a little more, showcase the episodes, and get you a little bit more information about us and, different things that we like about Disney and all that good stuff. So enough on that. Now, as we always do every week, we need you to get out on Facebook. We need you to get out on Instagram, Twitter. Give us a follow, subscribe, like, whatever you do on those great social media sites. The TikTok, we're out on there too. Mikhailo, I'm sure you've got a new video coming out soon.
Oh yeah, definitely. We're working on something great.
All right. So definitely get out there and join us in conversation there. We are putting out daily questions on the Miles from Main Street page on Facebook. The last one I did yesterday was, do you fly or drive to Disney World? And most people are opting for the fly, although I posted that I would do either. I do enjoy the road trip portion of the drive. So come on out there and let us know your thoughts on that. More importantly, I want to know your Magic Kingdom Mount Rushmore. So come on out. Again, it was your favorite ride, your favorite restaurant, your favorite show, and then your one wild card item that you would put up on Mount Rushmore. Bonus points if you give us the icons that you would put up there. So please definitely come on out. You'll see a couple of posts show up on the page for the new episode, and let us know there what you think the Mount Rushmore would be, what your Mount Rushmore would be. I'm forgetting. We have a YouTube channel. We'd love it if you'd come out and like and subscribe to that channel. That would be very helpful to us as we get things up and running. We have some great things coming in the future, and we could definitely use some subscribes out on the YouTube channel. That is something that will also be featured on the new website. Mm-hmm. I've been working on that. So I think I've covered it all. I did not. We need a rating and review. The best way to help us out, if you guys are enjoying this podcast, the best way to help us out is to go out and rate and review us on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts. And there's even a thing called Podchaser out there that you can go and rate and review us on. It would be super helpful if you could go and do that for us. We would appreciate the 5 stars if that's how you feel, and the feedback that you could leave us. So you just never know. If you leave a review, we will probably read it on the air to you. So let us know if you have any questions. If there's anything else you want to talk about, you can send us an email, milesfrommainstreetpodcast@gmail.com, and we will definitely talk to you there.
Yeah, and your comments will be read on the air. So we have one comment here that I'm going to read from Stephanie Stewarts, and her comment is fly.
Plain and simple.
Plain and simple. She would fly. So there you go. There's our second comment read on the podcast. So if you want your comment read, put that on your comment. If you want it read, we might read it. We might not. We probably will read it if you ask us to read it on the podcast. But every podcast, we're going to read some comment. This one was fly.
And, I really enjoyed, drive or fly. I enjoyed the comment from Marianne of yes.
I know, yeah. I saw that one. That one was funny, too.
I will take it any way I can get it. Right? That's how you do it.
Yes. Anyways, but I think this was a good one. We've got some really exciting things coming up. You guys should be excited. We're excited. But like we always say, some live close,
but others don't.
So let's talk about it. We'll see you next time on Miles from Main Street.